many innovative organizations were innovative, but they didn't know how to scale up. And the impact can only come in when you scale up.
So glad to be talking to you, sir, today.
Thank you.
And I want to understand first from you, in terms of your support and how you have nurtured innovation at scale through this platform.
So, we started Marico Innovation Foundation much prior to the Innovation Icons, or earlier we used to call it in India Innovation Awards, MIF Innovation Awards. We rebranded it this year, and we started this initiative in the year 2006. The whole objective was to create a platform to recognize unknown, hidden, potentially game-changing innovations, Indian innovations, both in the business as well as the social side, that create a big impact, socio-economic impact, environmental impact, and bring in awareness, just not recognized, but play a far more active role in helping these organizations scale up, because we realized that many innovative organizations were innovative, but they didn't know how to scale up. So we thought we can play a catalytic role in helping them scale up, bring these organizations far more alive. It just helps them in terms of gaining credibility, in terms of raising money. And our role is mainly to spread awareness of what innovative initiative they've undertaken, and recognize them at our function, which is attended by more than 1,000 people, from corporate leaders to many others on the social side also. And I think more than that, we provide them platforms for mentorship, wherein if any organization wants to be mentored, then the MIF team, internal team, Marico team, internal talent, me, myself, and a whole host of retired CEOs who are a part of this cohort.
And personally, Mr. Mariwala, when you look at innovation, from the lens of Marico, so can you state some examples of early innovations which you had done at the company?
I was a firm believer that organizations need to innovate. It's a very highly competitive business environment, and we need innovations both in the business space as well as the social space. So if I had to single out what 3 innovations which have had a positive impact on Marico's journey, is one is in the initial stages when we actually used packaging as a way to innovate in Parachute brand, and it was the first in the industry, and that really helped us in terms of gaining market share. From about 15% market share, we became a clear market leader, and I think that played a very, very important role in Parachute's growth journey. And Parachute is, for us, it's a mega brand. I think it has more than 3,000 crores turnover. And the same innovations we applied in Bangladesh, and that also succeeded because of innovations in packaging. And then later on, maybe one more innovation, if I had to cite, I would say that we used Saffola as a brand name. Saffola is known for its health positioning and heart positioning, and we have a very good equation with all our doctors also. So we said that can we enter healthy food through the Saffola brand name, and that's how we entered Saffola Masala Oats. Prior to this, we had launched plain oats, but we saw that our market share was stagnating, and then we realized that Indians want breakfast which is savory breakfast, and we identified masala oats as a way to grow, and we launched that product maybe about 5-7 years back. And I think the biggest deterrent to innovation is the fear of failure. So you need to remove the fear of failure in the organization, encourage your talent to experiment, prototype, and depending on the result of prototype, scale it up. So we've had multiple failures also in this journey, but it's okay to fail, because from failures you learn. And we have been supporting, as I said, innovations in agri-tech, clean tech, and plastic sustainability area to create a meaningful impact at scale, because just awarding is just one step in our Marico Innovation Foundation. It's one amongst many steps, and you need to create a whole ecosystem, reinforcements coming in from different angles to ensure that people think innovation on a perpetual basis.
You spoke about innovation, at Marico and from 2003 to now when we're sitting in 2025. So how do
Yes.
you see this journey of innovation ecosystem evolving from then to now?
So I'm so happy that the startup have played a very important role in India's economic growth. And I think startups have come from founders coming in from non-business families, which is a very good sign. It's come from smaller towns, which is again a very good sign. And of course, you need a strong ecosystem for the startups to flourish. Many of them will fail, and it's okay to fail, as I said earlier. But I think if the ecosystem is strong in terms of funding, in terms of research, in terms of the latest technologies which are coming in from globally, in terms of trends which come from outside India, as well as all the discontinuities are, whether it's COVID or whether it is geopolitical uncertainties or discontinuities, all these play a very important role in driving innovation. Separately, India's ranking in terms of global innovation rankings also has improved from 81st in 2015 to 39th in 2024, which show that innovations are playing an important role in India's growth story.
Any particular examples you can give in terms of how they have scaled up under your guidance?
We can talk of a company like Atomberg, which were they innovated in the fan space, and then they were able to reduce the power consumption substantially, and they have done extremely well. We mentored them in the initial stages. Then I can think of S4S Technologies, which is in drying farm produce, and they were thinking of launching a brand in the consumer space, and my advice to them was, don't do that. It's very expensive to launch a brand and create a distribution network. It's important for you. There is enough of a market in Horeca, which is in the QSR space. So whether it is sun-dried tomatoes or whatever else they were doing, they started doing that, and they're doing extremely well now. And we can give multiple examples, but I am telling Suranjana to send you some more details about that. You can actually give factual data on that, and then that can be a part of your article.
Mr. Mariwala, when you compare your entrepreneurial journey with today's founders, you think that kind of tech support or government support and other things in the ecosystem were missing when you started or when you were growing the company?
Absolutely. That time technology was not really a disruptor in the environment, and nor the government was, or the other corporates were really into innovation, nor was there a funding option available for new entrepreneurs. So it has emerged over last many years, because any unicorn is seen by many potential entrepreneurs, and then they said that, okay, this guy coming in from small, this person, whoever who has built the business coming in from small towns without any business family background has been able to create unicorn. It just spurs a lot of other entrepreneurs or potential entrepreneurs to look at business as a way to establish themselves. And now there is a backup also, because many of them are highly qualified. So even if they are not able to succeed in business, there is always a fallback on joining corporate world in terms of getting a job or anything else. So I think that because the job market also evolved over a period of time, so I think the risk taking has increased substantially because of all these reasons. And there is always that safety net is there, that okay, if I start a business, doesn't succeed, I can always pursue some other career in the corporate world.
And out of all these companies, has it happened that any of them has later on become a part of Marico in terms of you acquiring the brand?
Yes, we have in the FMCG, as I said earlier, it's D2C is a big disruptor, and you can view it from an angle of opportunity or from threat. So it could potentially be a threat for FMCG brands. We have done both sides. Wherever there is a threat, we have taken some steps to ensure that it doesn't impact our brand, or we will launch the same brand in the D2C space. And whenever there is an opportunity, we could acquire. We acquired in the last few years 4 brands, D2C brands. And they are managed separately, because the mindset required to manage a D2C brand is very different from the traditional brand. So I think that has flourished, and we see our D2C business growing into 1,000 crore business very soon, maybe next year or so. So it's good growth opportunity for us and good learning for us also, because then we can learn from our traditional businesses, can learn from D2C businesses, and also the D2C can learn from our traditional FMCG businesses. But another thing which I want to talk about is, because we use a lot of plastics, and I think whenever I spoke, and our innovation I mentioned earlier in Parachute happened because we converted the whole market from tins to plastics. And every time, at the end of my talk, people would say, "But what are you doing about plastics which are going into the environment?" And I think that was something which was, shall I say, I was frustrated. Yes, this is a real issue, and we need to do something about it. So when the Marico Innovation Foundation team came up with the first set of proposal to identify innovators in the plastics, and I fully readily agreed, and then we commissioned a study through Indian Institute of Science and Praxis Consulting in identifying innovators who in India who had done innovations in plastics. And these range from alternative plastics to reusing plastics to recycling plastics. So 16 innovators were identified, and we released this report about 3 years back. And we also have helped them in terms of scaling up. So individual sessions with me and others to scale up. But we were not happy. We said we need to create a larger impact. So considering that, we said that can we actually tie up with a company which is in recycling and use some of the innovators which have been featured in this to recycle household waste. So we have signed up with a company in Hyderabad, and we are in the process of putting up a factory to recycle. So that will be operational from later this year, maybe last quarter of this year.
Thank you, Mr. Mariwala.
Thank you, Punita.
Thank you.